O mankind, you should be mindful of your duty to Allah.
Train the child the way he should go, and when he grows, he will not depart from it.
One person who, when you empower her, she can do a lot.
A bad company corrupts good character.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. As to those who believe, and the Jews, and the Sabians, and the Christians, and the Magians, and the idolaters, verily, Allah will judge between them on the day of resurrection. Surely, Allah is witness over all things. Holy Quran, chapter 22, verse 18. Distinguished viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to another episode of A Woman's Perspective. A Woman's Perspective is brought to you from Wahab Adam Studios in Accra, Ghana. Religion is something that is dear to the hearts of many and has been the reason behind many acts since time immemorial. Some people think that religion is the very essence of human life, whilst others think that religion is just a way of creating unthinking human beings. But the aim of all religions have been good. That is, creating a relationship between man and his creator, as well as man and fellow human beings. But have this aim been always achieved by religion? We can see from many other countries and across the world that sometimes religion creates disharmony between individuals who live in a country. Today on a Woman's Perspective, we are going to discuss religious intolerance and whether religion is a cause for concern for the people of the world today. With me to discuss this, I have Hajia Rahmat Enusen, who is currently the Tabligh, that's the preaching secretary for the Ahmadiyya Women's Wing. Hajia, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Next to her, I have Mrs. Fatima Eshen Abbas, who is also the Tarbiyat, that's a moral training secretary for the Lajna Imaila Ghana. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
Ladies, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I'll begin with you, Sister Fatima. When we say religious tolerance, what is it? What is tolerance? What is religious tolerance?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Jazakallah, my sister, for the question. First, I'll pick on tolerance. When we say tolerance, what exactly do we mean? It simply means accepting somebody, an object or group of people, without necessarily agreeing to whatever it is that they have or they share. So if you are able to accept, if it's an ideology of someone or a person or group of people, without necessarily agreeing to it, then we say that you are tolerating such a person. Even drawing from our own societies, God Almighty has created us differently. We have different characteristics, different behavior and attitude.
The educationists will say individual differences,
yes, yeah? Yes, but we are able to accept each other, not necessarily trying to be like that person, but we are accepting the person's ideology, behavior, or something. That we are saying that we are tolerating that person, even at our homes. In our marital homes, husband and wife, for instance, come from different backgrounds. At home, they have different ideologies, but you're able to accept each other's differences. If you do that, we say you are tolerating the person. When you bring that to the religious front, then it means that you are accepting someone's faith or someone's belief, someone's religious ideologies, without necessarily believing in that ideology. When you do that, then we will say that it's religious tolerance.
Okay. Ajay, do you have anything to add? Or I wanted to know what this religious tolerance mean in a state-governed institutions.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. In a government, institution, what religious tolerance refer to is that the government allows, recognizes, respects each and every person's beliefs, practices, the diverse people under his jurisdiction. All of them, not all of them will belong to the same religion. So the government, in so doing, respects the beliefs, the practices of these people and allow them to practice it without any fear of intimidation, any restriction whatsoever. The government makes sure the religious minorities' concerns are addressed if there are any. And in some cases, government can even reserve some seats in his cabinet for religious minorities. Iran, for instance, has done that. When you go to Iran, Iran is a Muslim country, and they have reserved 5 seats, though it's not the best considering the number of, or considering the population. Iran has 5 seats for recognized religious minorities.
Who are in the country.
Who are in the country. They have 1 for Jews, 2 for Christians, and then 2 for Zoroastrians.
That's a very good example, but does it happen to all the countries, Sister Fatima? Is it very important for states to recognize everybody's religion?
Yes, my sister, it is very, very crucial. You know, earlier on you mentioned the fact that people's lives are associated with religion. That is what people believe in. There's the relationship between them and their creator. Yeah. So if that is what they believe in, then how can you govern an institution where you don't consider the beliefs of your citizens? How can there be peace in the country when the beliefs of your people are relegated to the background? It is very, very essential that at state-governed institutions, the government recognizes the needs of the people, the wants of the people, and make sure that each and everyone is satisfied as far as their religious beliefs are concerned. So at workplaces, government should not restrict religious minorities. At various schools and other institutions, there should be freedom of worship so that everybody is happy in the society and they are free to worship their creator.
They are free to worship their creator. Before we continue this discussion, let us watch this videotape that shows the timelines of some cases of religious intolerance across the world. Please.
Hundreds of Ahmadis have been killed through the 1953 Lahore riots, the anti-Ahmadiyya riots of 1974, and the May 2010 attacks on Ahmadi mosques in Lahore. Since 1999, the intermittent clashes between Muslims and Christians have killed thousands in northern Nigeria. Some sources assert that the Sudanese war, which lasted for 22 years, was ethno-religious, involving an attempt at imposition of the Sharia law on non-Muslims. In 2017, series of persecutions have led to the deaths of many Rohingya Muslims.
This is the magnitude of religious intolerance across the country. What do you have to say about that, Sister Rahmat?
Yes, this is actually happening, and then worse is happening around the world. When you talk of Pakistan, which was mentioned here, you see, during the, I think, 1947 partitioning of Pakistan, when Pakistan was founded, the leaders at the time didn't think of making Pakistan an Islamic state. They even allotted some seats in the cabinet for religious minorities, and people coexisted very, very well. But what is happening today? Today, many people are being oppressed, being killed for no wrong done because they profess a religion different from theirs, or they have beliefs and practices that is different from theirs. But I read an article by a former MP in Pakistan, Farnaz Ispahani. She wrote that from 2012 alone, coming 2012, I think from 18 months from 2012, lethal attacks have been subjected onto religious minorities in Pakistan. And you see that Shias were attacked 67 times, and it was lethal and destructive, killing them mercilessly. for no wrong done. We have Ahmadis 54 times. Christians,
Ahmadis have been attacked 54 times, and Shias has been attacked 65 times.
67 times.
67 times.
And then Christians 37 times.
All
then
in
Hindus,
Pakistan?
16 times, and 63 times. So it is religious intolerance at its peak. So Pakistan, as it was mentioned, is a serious thing that needs to be looked at. That unfortunately, at times they are not listening to people who are making efforts to influence this kind of irrational behavior.
Mr. Fatima, I want us to distinguish between religion and state in these cases, because will it be religion? Is it that Islamic religion that is doing that to the Ahmadis, or is it just the state that is doing that to the Ahmadis and all the other minorities that was mentioned?
Well, in such instances, it's really difficult to actually distinguish between the state and the religion, because taking the case of Pakistan, for instance, they have actually made a law, which is the state actually making a law, coming out with a law that, if I should use the word, suffocates religious minorities. So in these cases, the state that is meant or perpetrating these dubious acts
under the name of Islam, isn't it? Of their religion.
Really, and
that's
it's very,
profess.
Very sad.
In your opinion, you see, why are people intolerant of others' religion?
You see, it's really sad. Sometimes you think about it, and when I actually think about it, I find it really hard to understand why people do that. It is all because they do not actually understand whom they are worshipping. Taking this instance, for example, where people are not able to accept other people's religious beliefs, when we know that we are all created by one God, one supreme being, and we are all worshipping this same supreme being, and you are saying that you will not allow others to worship this same being, but you want to worship this same being. It's really hard to accept, actually. In such instances, people are not allowed to even put up mosques or build places of worship. They are not allowed to build schools or operate in the realm of their religion, because they are facing such acts of religious intolerance. There are people in their community or people in their country who are obstructing them from freely associating with their God and their Creator.
So if, for example, you say you are a Muslim and I feel you are not a Muslim, you allow me to do what I want to do, isn't it?
Exactly what I'm trying to arrive at, because at the end of the day, we are all worshipping the same God, who is As-Salam, who is the source of peace. And for that matter, for us to worship Him in the real way, we have to also be peaceful and live with one another in peace and harmony.
Because at the end of the day, it is God who will judge who is actually worshiping Him and who is not. Sister Rahmat, I want us to talk about whether societies are now tolerant of each other more than it was before, or you think that it has increased, intolerance have increased or decreased in this world?
Well, thank you. The world has gone through a series of massacres. I mean, thousands and millions of people have died as a result of religious intolerance in the past. That has actually reduced as compared to the medieval times. But religious intolerance still haunts us currently. In
the 21st century, this is happening.
Absolutely. And I would say it is on the rise. It is on the rise because it is found in the news every day. Every single day, you see one thing or the other occurring as a result of religious intolerance. One gentleman, one Peter Beaumont, posted an article and cited a research conducted by Pew Research International. It's an American think tank. And cited among the findings that 1/3 of the world population of 7 billion, this research was conducted among 197 countries. And among the findings, it said 3/4 of the world population, 7 billion people of the population, still live under government restrictions or religious hostilities.
Seriously?
Absolutely. And so it is a serious one. It is still going on. And these days, the slightest provocation results in riots. Just some 2 days ago, it was in the news that in Sri Lanka, the Buddhist majority are burning down mosques. They are destroying mosques and burning shops of Muslims. Why?
Why?
What triggered this? According to them, a Muslim attacked one Buddhist. So this has caused them
The whole Buddhist society to also attack the Muslims.
And so if people do not learn to respect the rights of other people, then religious intolerance will continue to be a perpetual phenomena which will be lingering around our necks.
Oh my God. Sister Fatima, my next question was, do you think religious intolerance is a cause for concern in the world? I think it is, isn't it?
It's a real cause.
Especially also in Africa.
It's a real cause for concern everywhere. As I mentioned earlier on, if states are governed people, you need these people to manage the states. So if at the end of the day, these people whom you need to manage the states or various sectors of the country are not at peace
They are not
with
free.
each other because of religious intolerance, then where is the nation going to? When you come to Africa, religious intolerance has actually become a conundrum for the continent. You see, there are several cases in which some African countries have fought over religious disagreement. When you take Sudan, for example, it has been divided into North and South, all because of what? Religious intolerance. Nigeria, for instance, Kenya, and Tanzania and other countries have faced a lot of serious troubles or have gone
Due
through a
to
lot of
intolerance.
problems or difficulties, all due to religious intolerance. And when such things happen, it actually affects the nation as a whole. It affects individuals. People are killed. People lose their lives, properties. Women and children are mostly affected. And when it comes to the economy of the country, it's also
difficult for it to,
In fact, studies have proved that countries with less religious intolerance or where there are no religious intolerance have actually progressed in the economic ladder as far as economic sustainability issues are concerned. And a country needs people to also invest in. So how can people come to your country to invest in your economy when there are riots here and there coming out from religious intolerance? Social infrastructure are destroyed. People are not happy in the country. They are emotionally affected. They are psychologically affected. People mention their country and they are not even happy about it for living in that country because of religious intolerance.
It's very interesting what you're saying. It's just that time is not allowing us to go into detail. Sister Rahmat, can we talk about this issue that is a worry to me? You see, why is it that people are so afraid of Muslims when the majority of people that they live with who are Muslims are peaceful? Why is it that they have this perception about Muslims?
Well, I will touch on two things. One, I will associate this with the media. The way the media blow up news about Islam has contributed to this. It has one bad reputation for Islam. Any slightest thing or any undesirable thing after about a Muslim make headlines in the news.
But if it is
otherwise, let me put it this way: in the media, when a Muslim does something, it is terrorism. When a non-Muslim does it, it is crime. So the media is contributing to this to create some distasteful image for Islam. Currently, let me say, some time ago, a director of a university, Liberty University.
Yes,
in Virginia,
I heard about that. Yeah.
Was giving a speech to thousands of students. And he was advising that they should obtain permission
to kill Muslims,
to get arms, to carry weapons, to kill Muslims. And this never made headlines in the news. If a Muslim had uttered this, the CNNs, the Al Jazeera, the NBCs, not to talk about the other media outlets, this would have been repeatedly broadcast to all corners of the earth.
Even the video showed that the Rohingya Muslims are being killed, and thousands of them are died. And the media is quiet about it.
The media and the whole world is quiet about it.
Amazing.
Another thing that I would like to associate this is that there is, the fact cannot be disputed that some actions of Muslims are outside the code of conduct of Islam.
Yeah.
Some Muslims have strayed from the teachings of Islam, and so they are labeling their fellow Muslims and other non-Muslims apostates. If they are proposing death sentences for apostasy and killing people indiscriminately, bombing people. Now, if you do this, what will happen? Everybody will see Islam as a violent religion. And so until people of this sort, this category of people, stop repeatedly denounce this act and desist from it, people will continue to associate violence with Islam.
Sister Fatima, there are a lot to talk about when it comes to this issue, but let's talk about what Islam says. Does Islam encourage religious intolerance?
Not at all, my sister. Islam abhors religious intolerance. In fact, it frowns on acts of religious intolerance. The Holy Quran, chapter 2, verse 257, Allah Almighty has said, La ikraha fi din. There is no compulsion in religion. God Almighty, who created us, and has said in chapter 51, verse 57, that he has created man and jinn for the purpose of what? Worshipping him. At the same time, he's saying that there is no compulsion in religion. So who are you, man, to compel others to worship your way? You see, Allah Almighty has also said in chapter 10, verse 100, that if he has enforced his will, everybody would have believed together. But he didn't enforce his will. He didn't enforce his will.
So why a human being enforce?
That is a question that Almighty Allah adds to it. Then how? See, he asks the question, will thou then force men to become believers? No. This is the beautiful teachings that Islam is bringing to the fore. Islam is telling us that you cannot force anyone to believe in your religion or any other religion. God Almighty, who created us, has given everybody his or her liberty to practice the religion that he or she wants. So you can't force anybody to practice the religion that you want. And if people are forcing others to do it, then it is not Islamic teachings. If Muslims are forcing others not to practice their religious teachings, it is not a religious teaching.
So all these Boko Haram, ISIS, it is not Islamic teaching. This is their own personal
not at all.
Interest.
Or political interest.
Not at all. I have also wanted to add that the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, through whom Allah
That was the next
Almighty,
question I was coming to.
Allah Almighty brought Islam to the world, came to meet Christianity, Jews, and other religious bodies on earth. However, he practiced the best form of religious beliefs with them so that they could coexist in peace and harmony. He did all he could to actively promote peace and harmony between these religious sects. When he moved to Medina, he was made a political leader there. And at that time, he was able to establish a constitution, the Sahifa. And in this constitution, Jews were supposed to coexist peacefully with other people. At that time, there were about 15% of the population who were Muslims. About 40% were Jewish and 45% were Arabs who were not Muslims.
And even as a political leader, he didn't enforce the religion on them.
Not at all. And all of them were given their liberty to practice their religion. And he even asked them to use their own regulations to met punishment on whoever they feel like. They should follow their own teachings and not that of Islamic teaching.
Thank you very much. I'm worried that time is not allowing us. Let's talk about religious extremism. Does Islam allow that?
No, Islam does not. In the first place, who coined that word? Religious you said religious extremism, but they used to say Islamist extremism. It is as a result of this hatred for Islam that that word was coined. It does not exist in Islam, neither did it exist in its inception. It has nothing to do with Islam. The Holy Prophet ﷺ, who brought the religion, was compassion personified. He himself, after becoming victorious and returned to Mecca, never take any revenge against all those who perpetrated those oppressions on them. He forgave them. Ikrama, a son of Abu Jahl, for instance, a vicious enemy of Islam, fled because
he thought that he was
punished by the Holy Prophet. His wife pleaded, the Holy Prophet accepted. He came back and wanted to seek a confirmation for that clemency, and the Holy Prophet confirmed it for him. This kind of action moved him so much immensely that he himself embraced Islam.
Amazing, amazing. You see, there's no time. I want us to watch this videotape that shows incidents of interfaith dialogue and people giving messages of religious tolerance.
I hope and pray that we, who are the representatives of different faiths and religions, and who have gathered here today to particularly demonstrate these loving teachings, all strive towards worshiping the one God by treating His creation with justice and by fulfilling their due rights. Certainly, these are the original teachings of all religions. We should utilize all of our resources and capabilities to foster a better society, to help God's creation and to spread love, affection, and peace at every level. The urgent and critical need of the world today is to establish peace and faith in God.
We are all indeed reminded that Almighty Allah has been sending His noble prophets and messengers into the world with messages promoting peace, orderliness, mutual respect, and harmonious coexistence among people of all races, creeds, and religions. In Ghana, this harmonious coexistence is demonstrated in many aspects of life, including within my own extended family, where both Muslims and Christian relatives live together in love and peace.
I have learned that Islam is built on the rights of life, equality, tolerance, and justice. I have learned that Islam advocates the freedom of expression, the freedom of speech, and the freedom of religion.
We have been trying to have this interreligious dialogue that will let us interrelate with each other. And so if we have occasions and we are able to come together like this, I feel it's very fine. It will help us to tolerate each other. We don't see each other as different people, and I feel it is the same God that we are all heading towards, only that we have taken two different paths.
It looks like all these interactions will help. But let's talk about the practicalities when you live with people, Sister Fatima. Sometimes they give utterances that is very hurtful. How do you deal with these utterances? They can say Muslims are cruel, Muslims are murderers. When you are a Muslim sitting there, how do you deal with these utterances?
Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has taught us something that's so beautiful. He said, Laysa shadidu bisu'ati inama shadidu lezi yamliku nafsahu indal ghadabi. The strongest person is not the one who wrestles with others when you are angry, but the strongest person is the one who is at peace with the fellow, or you are able to contain yourself when you are angry.
Mashallah, beautiful teachings.
In such instances, you just go by these teachings and contain yourself. That makes you stronger. And rather use the opportunity to educate such people because they have no knowledge about Islam. That is why they are
doing that. Sister Ajia Rahmat, what can we as Muslim women do to increase religious tolerance in our society?
All I will say is education. And a replica of it is what was shown. During our conferences, we invite people where we seek to gain religious, spiritual upliftment. We invite our people, listen to our speeches, and also get to know about what the true Islam is about. When you look at what we watch, our spiritual head, the Khalifa, was giving a speech to many people. He has written to even world leaders to make sure that he teaches them, educate them on the true teachings of Islam. And as women, we also organize interfaith conferences, and then we do house-to-house interactions. All these things we do so that we will be able to educate people who do not have much knowledge in Islam. So
unfortunately, time is not allowing us to continue. Sister Fatima, please, your final words.
I'll take my final words from Holy Quran chapter 6 verse 109, where Allah Almighty says that we should not abuse those who call beside Allah, others beside Allah, lest they also abuse Allah ignorantly. So if Allah Almighty is telling us not to abuse such people, then who are we to abuse them? So let us all abstain from uttering words or
that is hurtful to another people's religion.
Let's all try as much as possible to tolerate each other. At the end of the day, it is God Almighty we are worshiping, and let's leave judgment to Him, because He is the master of doing judgment.
What
I would say is that we are all aware of the values of respect, peace, unity. It is only this that will help us coexist in peace. Money cannot buy it. So let us cherish it, adore it, and live by it, so that we will all live in peace.
Viewers, this is all time for that allow us, and we have learned a lot. We should all try as women, and wherever we live, we should try to live together. He may be a Jew, he may be a Christian, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we are all the children of God. You worship yours, I worship mine, for you your religion, and for me my religion. And then let's live together as human beings. Human beings first, and then all the other religion. Judgment is with Allah. Until another edition of another episode of A Woman's Perspective, stay safe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.